Hello, Lama. Hey, George. My Windows Ubuntu. Interesting. Yeah, I'm fine. Okay. Ah, fuck me. Oh, coffee is good, man. Something went wrong. Yay, Linux, best OS in the world. The fuck is my phone? Oh, I know where it is. Hey, review man. It's funny to think about that Linux users don't like everything to be controlled by one entity. But if you're running a Linux distribution, they control 99% of everything. They control the kernel, userland, drivers accessibility for the most part, and the repos. So that means that you are in the hands or you are in the mercy of the distribution makers for almost everything about your distribution or your OS. Which is really, really strange when you think about it. That you're putting most of your trust into random people where if something goes wrong, you have no way of getting, what is the word? Not feedback, but like let's say if Arts fucks something up, you can't sue them because you agree to that they are not responsible. You know, there's a lot of trust me pro going on with open source and Linux, and I find that super interesting because they don't like when proprietary companies do that thing, where they're like, well, trust me, pro. Oh, what do you have on discover more? B programs? It is what it is. Like, so I'm going to stereotype. This is like the DNA of the average Linux user. They don't want to pay for the software. They don't care about how they're getting it, so they're okay with pirating software, videos, movies. They also are the ones using the most ad blockers. They don't really help out in the community whatsoever other than using/consuming. They also are really advocating or are really strong-minded about how everyone else should use their computer systems and or, what things should be on it. Which I think is mostly because it's justifying, freeloaders is basically the right word for it. And I think the only reason why they want more people to do what they are doing is because it's validating that they are that kind of person. Because I see more people willing to pirate stuff on Linux than I do on Windows, to be honest. And I see less people helping or donating to communities on open source than I do on the proprietary world. It's just really... It's like the hippies that wants to be, they sit around the campfire. And every time it's everyone like, okay, you contribute Bob, you contribute Josephine, you contribute Amy. And then Joe, it's your turn to contribute. And they like, oh, I found this knot in the forest. This is my contribution. I can't give anything to the community for the next 2 months or at all until I get lucky and find the knots again. And then, Bob is giving half of a fucking deer. Gudrun has made like fucking 5 loaves of bread that she's giving to the community. I just feel like a lot of the Linux users, they do the absolute minimum, if anything at all, while they are virtue signaling that that's what it's about, it's the community we should all give to and stuff like that, but they don't do it themselves. And I find that super interesting. Do I think Linux user would sue the distro if they could? No. They will bitch and moan and use another one. That's it. Because a lot of Linux users, and this is like blatantly obvious in how little they give to the community. They really don't want to spend money. They just want free shit. But if they can pirate a lawyer, they will, yeah, of course. Hey, Camp Logic in Red Dead Redemption, yeah. I actually have beer today. I have like a liter of beer I can drink later on if people get too angry or too weird, so I can like cope with them. Well, I had it in my fridge for like over a week. I need to drink it. Well, I don't need to, but I'm tired of looking at it. It takes up space. But yeah, I just find it funny that they're sitting and talking about the community, and all they're doing is just taking from the community. Dex is fun. Also, I'm debating on doing like some live reaction, like reacting to videos live. So I may do that next week. So my plan is that I upload every Monday. I upload a video every Monday, and then the day after, I do a live stream like this. Holy shit, Scooby! I hope that goes well with the system upgrading. We just migrated NAS servers over the weekend, which apparently went well. The boss wanted to do it on his own, so, well, he got to do it on his own. But yeah, everything seems to be working. Doop. Wait, we have Powershell in here. Totally forgot about that one. Why can't I uninstall it from here? Yeah, we we almost have filled up 4 terabytes already. It took 18 hours to migrate, he told me. Wait, is that the other one? No, that's VPF. Can I just not see anything? I hate this start menu here, or this, like, menu here. I hate it. Where the fuck is the updater? Why is GNOME split up in many parts? Because everyone wants to fix the problem. And they don't, instead of working together, they all think they have the right idea or the best idea, or however you will say it. So therefore, they are like, my ego tells me that my way is the right way, so therefore we do it. So take Arch Linux, for example. Before Arch Linux has the Arch installer, there were hundreds of distributions that did nothing else to Arch Linux than installing Arch Linux in the easy way. We don't need 10 or 20 or 30 different distributions where their main function is to just install Arch, basically. But that's because everyone thinks they can do it better than the next one. And they all end up being the same. This really irritates me. Why can't I find that one? The old NAS is the new backup server. And then there is backups to external hard drives that happens 2 times a week or something like that. Like, the boss is controlling the NAS. I have nothing to do with it. I got hired to do IT infrastructure, and I barely have access to 50% of everything we does. And every time I ask to get access to it, it's like a long-winded, like, blah, 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 and then it take them half a year to remember doing anything. So if they ask me about, can you do this for me? I'm just like, well, no. So now you have to do it. So I just code instead. It's that simple. Like, I have no access to the router at work at all. Never. And I asked for it for over a year, and now I'm just stopped asking. Yeah, they split up in 100 companies that are working on this. Yeah, exactly. It's that mentality that I think I know better, or I can do better. And they don't look at the market, or well, let's call it a market. It is not a market, but let's call it a market. And they don't look at the landscape, is probably a better word. And see, like, is it actually needed what I'm doing, or could I be spent better helping someone out or an existing community out? Which is probably the yes. It would probably be better spent. Because let's say you want to optimize something in arts. Let's say you want to optimize the install process. Well, if you go into an existing project, you can be the guy or girl that optimizes the install process. You don't have to deal with packaging the distribution, maintaining it, asking questions from the user. You don't have to put it up on, on different, what is it called, hosting sites and stuff like that. You can only focus on the thing you want to focus on. But if you want to respin your own distribution, you now become an administrator, you become a marketing person, you have to do all of these other things instead of just working on the thing that you're actually interested in. Why did it not reboot? Fucking Ubuntu. Let's restart that this way. There you go. And that is what a lot of people, they forget. They make a distribution to fix one thing, but they're spending so much time doing 10,000 other things than actually fixing that thing. It's not business owner skill, it's just common sense. But again, a lot of Linux distribution makers have an ego on the size of fucking the universe. And most of them have no clue. And I mean no clue how to do anything in a corporate functionality or project functionality when it comes to IT, software, anything like that. They may have, coded like a little program here and there, or they may have helped their mom and dad with maintaining their computers. But that's nothing like being a project leader. Because when you're doing your own distribution, you are now a project leader. And that's why a lot of them are fucked up. They just are bad. And that's why you get a lot of distributions that are just, or the icon set or the wallpaper, because that's all they can figure out how to do. They can't figure out how to customize the back end of what they're using, so they just change the look of it. It's like, I am a totally new car manufacturer, and all I do is I buy Fords and repainting them and putting in fancy seats. And now I'm calling it a total new car brand. Like most distributions, if you go onto DistroWatch, well, that's much more in the wild, but most distributions are useless junk. And that's being, like, charitable here. All they are doing is taking up unnecessary space on a server somewhere. Or on servers somewhere. Not even that. They are not doing anything other than just repainting it. That's it. So here you have like a distribution that is a media-focused distribution. You can make a bash script for any Linux distribution already existing that will install all of these things that you need here. Even all the configuration file if needed. To suit better being a multimedia distribution. Like, you don't need to have a ISO just to be, to do this. You could just say, our project is this script here that will install these programs, order these configuration files, set up your distribution to be like a massively really good multimedia distribution. Kali Linux kind of do this now. You can get a script that install all the, either is it Kali or someone, I can't remember the other one, but they do kind of this now where they are not so much the distribution anymore as they are a collection of tools. And that's what people should do. Leave the top 4 alone and then make scripts that order those distributions into the workload that you want them to be. Because then you can focus on doing that. So this is based on Debian stable. And it's using... Yeah, what the fuck is it using? I think it's using Cinnamon, to be honest. Make a script that uninstall the current desktop, install the desktop of choice, setting up the themes, downloading the wallpaper, setting them up, downloading the software needed, setting up the theme, and Bob's your uncle, you will get this thing here. There's no need for another Debian stable distribution with what I guess is either Cinnamon or XFCE on it. Oh, it was Cinnamon. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know who these people are. They've done a lot of distributions over the years with different names. Or it could even be the same one here. And they're either from Brazil or Italy, I can't remember. Wait, I clicked customers. Yeah, it's just a lot of bullshit. Oh, 99% of the distributions can disappear tomorrow. If Linux united their powers, they could still not overtake macOS and Windows. They could not. They could not. Because then they have to become macOS and Windows. You have to make your OS accessible to the lowest accommodator. So that means that now you're not special anymore. You're not like this tech guru anymore. And that means that most people that are interested in Linux, they don't want to be interested anymore. So most of the volunteer work is going out of the way. That's why Linux is super strong in the corporate world, because nobody cares about your ego in the corporate world. Nobody cares about how unique you feel in the corporate world. They just care about, are you producing a good product? That's also why you don't see many Linux distros that are corporate specific that actually are successful. because you have to make a good product. You can't just half-ass it. And the few distribution makers that do really good corporate software, they make a lot of money and are doing, well, I've done it for years now, decades. But they are also mostly looked at as the bad Linux distributions because they make money. And again, it's most Linux users are Linux users because of ego. Most Linux distributions are made because of ego. It's that simple. Because why would you use a lesser product in some instances just so you can say, I'm using this product? That's why they justify or they use the copium like, oh, I care about open source, I care about X, Y, and Z. No, you're trying to justify to yourself why you were struggling with an OS that you didn't need to struggle with, or you're using something that gives you more problems in certain areas than other OSs that you should just use in that case. You know. If Linux becomes Windows 11, I'm switching to Windows 7. People are delusional when it comes to Linux. It's so funny how delusional they are. That they are living in this world where they think that the way Linux is now is how it's going to be forever. Oh, that escalated quickly. Why the fuck is Vivaldi going nuts with memory? Yeah, it's a weird thing, man. Yeah, that's kind of neat, yeah, that it has that feature. Oh, Vivaldi has its own ad blocker. It's actually really good. It even has its own VPN. You get for free. Yeah, well, you can just download or add that extension then. Yeah, but it's still the free. You still get a free version. So. Okay, so there's a massive memory leak somewhere in Vivaldi that. I think it's my YouTube page that I was watching. I was watching something on YouTube. And I think it was just caching the whole video in the back end. It's on Windows, it's not on this one here has no problem. I have like 10 videos and queues and whatnot open on my Vivaldi browser on Windows for things I need to do later on. And it was just sucking up memory. Here's a fun trick you can do. So if you think your OS is using too much memory, try and close all your browsers and you'll see how much they take. Like, it's ungodly nowadays how much RAM browsers take. It's almost like it's actually physically more than your OS needs to run. It's that fucking mental. Well, that's bullshit. It's like saying any unused space in your apartment is wasted space, so therefore you should fill up your room. Like, if you have a lot of unused memory, you have too much memory for your use case. Just like if you buy a Threadripper computer just to watch YouTube, you are the most stupid consumer to ever live. Well, normally the Vivaldi is really good. It's YouTube being a dickhead. YouTube love doing a lot of shit in the back end. Well, that's not the case. Like it's one of those stupid arguments that a lot of people tend to use that have no fucking idea what they're talking about. And it's not because of efficiency or anything like that. So if you have thin cast in RAM, you're still not using it. So who gives a fuck if it's in RAM or not in RAM? So if you're still only, let's say you have 64 gigs of RAM, 1000 gigs of RAM, and all you're doing is watching YouTube, but Windows or Linux and stuff are caching a lot of shit in RAM because it has access to it. So it may do indexing in RAM, it may put a lot of the operating system things in RAM and stuff like that you don't need. It's just sitting there waiting for you that like once a week you're going to need it. So you spend money on it's the I have videos about this on my channel where tech people love to spend money or waste money on technology because they think it's, more is better. A really good example is I see people buy like 144 Hz or 270 Hz monitor, and then you have a graphic card that can barely drive a game in 60 frames per second. But they still justify buying that expensive monitor because, more hertz is better. And if I'm playing solitaire, I get more frames. Yeah, but it's not helping you in solitaire. You are wasting money you could have put into a better graphic card, better PSU. Heck, you can even just buy more games from it. Or I see people playing casual gaming and they buy like a $6,000 graphic card or whatever the fuck they cost nowadays to just play Minecraft. It's stupid. Like when you're buying your computer, you almost have to think about like, okay, I'm going up to a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, and I have to justify that I'm buying a fleet of these computers. AKA, does it make sense? And at some point you go into diminishing returns. You're paying so much money for 1 or 2% improvement. I could probably save most tech users 40 to 50% of their money spent. But they want bigger numbers because bigger numbers mean bigger penises, apparently. And they're never going to use it. So here's a really good example. If you had to build let's just say a development computer today, can you type in chat the specs that you recommend a development computer should have? Just type in how fast of a computer, how much RAM, and how much disk space it should be. And I will guess 90% of you give the wrong answer. What is this? OpenSUSE. Oh, it's an OpenSUSE tumbleweed. Other ideas, other people? What would be put the specs of the specs for a development station? Like, what if you should buy like 10 development stations for a company that just do mid-range development, so just Windows or Windows apps for the corporate world and stuff like that. Just basic development, like what most developers do. We're not talking about AI development, we're not talking about game development, we're just talking stock standard, your average developer. What spec do you think they should have? The only way you need 32 gig of RAM could be if you have like 10,000 IDEs open, or you are doing large language model or AI training. Or you're doing data analytics. So you're doing, like you're working with a lot of spreadsheets and stuff like that. Stuff like you have a lot of databasing going on. Yeah, I just said that, Wilson. That unless you're doing specific big data loads. This is what 90% of developers can work with today. 4 cores, 8 gig of RAM, and 250 or 500 gigabyte SSD. Granted, your compiling time or stuff like that is not the fastest, but you can work with this. You can work with this. And you can have a really good time working with this. Well, they do make 4-core CPUs. The RAM... So here's the only time I've seen someone physically needed more RAM. And that was a person working with analytic data in Power BI. Where working with that workload required about 64 gigs of RAM. And all it did was giving them a 25% improvement. Which is a lot. But it was not like it was night and day. Because a lot of times it will just cache cache whatever you're doing into your hard drive or your SSD. And most developers, unless you're a data analytics developer or working with AI models, most developers don't use that much resources, even with the IDE running. Like, of course, the faster the computer is, the faster you can do, if you're compiling a lot and stuff like that. So there could be a benefit to having a faster computer. But I'm not talking about what you want to have. I'm talking about what is about the minimum you can do a development workload on and still be productive. And it's about 4 cores, 8 gig of RAM, and then, heck, you can even go, well, hard disk space is not that important, because you can just host your products in the cloud or on a NAS server and develop from there and stuff like that. You can also deploy to the cloud to servers. You don't even have to deploy to your own or build to your own machine if you don't want to. And there will be edge cases, like I said, the data analytics person I was talking about that fucking took data from 10,000 databases and put them into all kind of crazy shit, needed a lot of RAM, but that's not a typical use case. Like, I know there are companies that are specializing in computer data analytics, but that's not your average developer, Like, development really is not that what do you call it? Well, you can do 4 gig if you really wanted to, but 8 gig is like the sweet spot. No. No, they are not. Most companies don't even know what an LLM is, so... Heck, you don't even need 2 monitors. You can code comfortably on 1 monitor. It's just more convenient to have, the more fucking real estate you have, the better, of course, but you don't need 2 monitors. It's super comfortable to, here's the thing. The first, hour, it's super irritating to develop on 1 monitor. But after, an hour or 2, you just get used to it. It's like a lot of the things people... basically what I'm coming at is a lot of the recommendation people give other people are like... It would be like, oh, I need a car to get me to school, and they're recommending you a Lambo. Because they would like a Lambo. And it's fancy, and it has all of these crazy things going on and stuff like that. Like, I do most of my development at home on a 14-inch laptop. And I rarely connect... I have 2 27-inch monitors. I rarely connect that to the laptop. And I have no issue doing it. I even have a 13-inch MacBook Air I develop on sometimes, and I rarely put that one onto the monitors. Yeah, would it be nice to have the extra monitors connect? Of course it would. But I don't know if I'm too fucking lazy or whatever, but Framework laptops, I don't think Framework would be around for much longer. Because nobody wants repairable or upgradable laptops. Yeah, fancy zones or fancy toy, power toys or what it's called on Windows. I use that quite a lot, yeah. Yeah, people have to get out of the mindset that every computer user is a computer hobbyist. Framework laptops are for computer hobbyists. They are not for the average computer user. This is why... Here's a fun fact. I don't know if this is 100% true, but I've heard multiple people say this. This is how little people care about what the Steam Deck brings to the table. It can be a desktop, it's Unix powered, blah blah, or Linux powered and all that shit. In the first 2 days of the Nintendo Switch, they sold more units than all of the combined units sold by Valve. In 2 days, they outsold the whole lifespan of Steam Decks. In 2 days. The Switch 1 sold more units per month than the Steam Deck has sold in its lifetime. And arguably, the Steam Deck is a better console than the Nintendo. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. It actually have better battery life in a lot of instances, funny enough. But people don't care about what the Steam, because the Steam Deck you can also watch YouTube. It's a computer, more or less, like a lot of people call it a handheld computer, which I don't agree with. But for sake of argument, let's call it a handheld computer. You can do so much other things than just game on it. But most people that buy a handheld gaming device, they just want to game. They don't want to do all these other things. So the same with the Framebook laptop. People that buy a laptop, they buy one they can afford that lasts the longest. And when that don't last anymore, they just buy a new one and they give the old one to family members, resell it and stuff like that. So there's a whole ecosystem around that. A lot of kids, if you were a kid, you probably got your dad's or mom's leftover, computers. A lot of schools, universities live off donations for old computers, either from businesses or private people. That whole ecosystem kind of goes away if you just only upgrade the screen or the connection. Then you have like a dongle laying around that only framework laptops can use. Which is like, when you think about it, really fucking stupid. You can only upgrade framework laptops with framework components, because they are not compatible with Lenovo or any other manufacturer. So your old hardware is now like, well, it's outdated hardware. Who else wants outdated hardware? Nobody wants outdated hardware. So the customer base for your old outdated framework components get even lesser, even smaller. Because most people that have frameworks will upgrade to the newest, and it's only people that can afford the latest framework computer that will buy your old one, but those people are not that many. So what you would end up, or could end up, I'm not saying that this is guaranteed, but you could end up with a massive e-waste problem, with like, use screens, use this and that, where you could debate that if you are decommissioning a whole fully working laptop, there will be a Linux nerd somewhere that want that Lenovo laptop that you don't want anymore. There is a kid that wants your Lenovo laptop you don't want anymore. There is an accountant that just needed for accounting software that want your old laptop. It's easier to find someone that wants to buy an old laptop than an old laptop screen. People look at laptops and computers as they look at their refrigerator, their what is it called? Washing machine. It's a appliance. Just like the phone. Most people, the screen and the battery is the most they want to upgrade. Yeah, I also want that old Lenovo. I could probably find a use case for it. But the framework laptop is I get what they're trying to do, and I think it's a good idea. And I like that they're doing it. But I don't think there is a market for it. That's the problem. Because most people don't want to deal with it. But here's another thing. If you can upgrade your framework laptop, which depending on what it is you're upgrading, can take some skills, you now have to pay someone money to upgrade it for you. Which is another hassle. And then over the years, you may spend more money maintaining your framework laptop than just buying a new one. People don't want, people are lazy motherfuckers, okay? They want minimum effort. RAM and hard disk or storage is that's probably the thing that most people would upgrade if they could. More RAM and more hard disk space. That's it. But even that, most people are not doing that anymore. But if people are upgrading, it's more likely the RAM and the hard disk, because the CPU can last you a long time. Yeah, go reboot. Like, a CPU nowadays will last you a long time for most use cases, unless you like a game or doing like heavy shit. But yeah, the framework laptop, like I said, has the same problem like the Steam Deck has. It's too complicated for most people. And here's another thing. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Nintendo Switch is even cheaper than the Steam Deck. Heck, even the ROG Ally and stuff like that, they are outcompeting the Steam Deck with performances and usability and compatibility nowadays. Not to mention that the Steam Deck has a massive fucking quality control issue. There are so many people that are bitching and moaning about them breaking. Which is what was my... If you go really back in my live streams and watch some of my really old videos, if I have not deleted them yet, that was one of my biggest concerns with the Steam Deck, is because Valve has always had a reputation of building really badly hardware. So every time Valve did hardware, it always ended up being, what is it called? Like the quality control was just lacking. Well, at least in Denmark, the Switch 2 is cheaper than the Steam Deck, yeah. If you want the top-of-the-line Steam Deck versus the Nintendo Switch, if you want the mid-range Nintendo Switch versus Steam Deck, I think they're about the same. Yeah, you can do more, that's what I'm saying, Lamer. You can do more on your Steam Deck, but most people don't want to do that more thing. Most people, when they buy a handheld gaming device, they just want to game. That's it. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people have to do a lot of workarounds to fuck around with the Steam Deck, yeah. Yeah, so what people have, or what they had for the handheld market to outcompete the Steam Deck. So ROG Ally, the Xbox One that's coming out, Steam Deck, they need to understand that when people are buying, most people, the vast majority of people, when they are buying a handheld gaming device, well, they are looking for a handheld gaming device. They're not looking for a handheld gaming device that also is X, Y, and Z. There's not that big of a market for people that want their handheld game device also to be the main computer and stuff like that. This Switch 2 is backward compatible. You can place Switch 1 games on it. And you can upgrade the space with SSDs. Well, the Steam Deck is an interesting concept. And I don't know, I honestly think that it may not stay forever. Because they are not selling that many of them. And the other thing is that it's so big, you know. It's big and thick and heavy. And it's super power inefficient. That's probably the biggest complaint I hear about the Steam Deck, is that it's not really a handheld device because you need to get you tethered to an outlet all the time. Yeah, they make money from the sale of games just like any other console maker does. Yeah, but making SteamOS available for other consoles is not like... It's like Android, Google making Android available for other devices. It's just like... It's Valve's attempt to make money in the handheld market. Like, I'm heavily debating between a Steam Deck and a Switch. And the only big argument that I have for the Steam Deck over the Switch is that I have thousands of games on Steam already. I don't have to buy new games. Because if I should compare the build quality, the accessory library, and all of these things, I'd rather have a Nintendo. I trust Nintendo way more when it comes to hardware and stuff like that than I trust Steam. The only reason why I want the Steam Deck is because I don't have to buy games. That's the only benefit. Like, if the only time I recommend a Steam Deck to someone is if they have a big Steam library. That's it. That's it. You can emulate on any other device also. You can even emulate on the Nintendo if you want to. And most people that buy a handheld device don't want to emulate. They don't care. Yeah, you can emulate on your smartphone if you want to, yeah. Again, it's like I said in the pirating video. If the law says it's illegal, okay? If the customers want what the Steam Deck brings, they will buy Steam Decks. They would not buy other consoles. If Linux was really that good of an OS, everyone would be using it. Like, we can all sit here and insert copium into our buttholes and sniff it at the same time and give excuses or explanation of why, blah, blah, blah. The matter of fact is, like I said, the Steam Deck 2 sold more units in 2 days than there have ever been sold Steam Decks. And this is from more than one person I've heard this. I don't know if it's true, but I could imagine it. The original Steam Deck, or Nintendo, sold more units per month than the Steam Deck has ever sold. The market has spoken, okay? The market has spoken. Just because I would like a Steam Deck, that don't mean everyone wants a Steam Deck. I honestly may get a Steam Deck this month. I'm not joking here. But like I said, it's because I have a massive, thick and heavy stream library. Had I not had that and I started out from scratch, I was like a billionaire, I would probably get a Nintendo Switch and buy all my games on that one. Heck, I may even do that. I don't know. Hey, I may even be interested in the Xbox thing that comes out soon. But if you want to see what people want, look at what they are buying. You know, I hear so many people say that, oh, Linux is the best OS ever. Why is everyone not using it then? Because it's not the best OS ever. And people say, it's because they don't know it and blah, 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 blah. People know about Linux. If Linux was the best OS in the world and it was free, everyone would know about Linux. Oh yeah, it will, Wilson. Yeah. Yeah, I hope they release a handheld because more competition means better devices for everyone. You know, the more competition on the market, the better devices, the better devices everyone will be getting. Well, they've already kind of announced it, and I think the Xbox has even talked with Valve about using SteamOS for it at some point, you know. But yeah, if you want to know what people want, look at what they are using. It's that simple. If most people use iPhones, that's because most people want iPhones. And we can sit here and masturbate over Linux and Windows and or Android and say it's like they don't know what the fuck they know what they're doing. People know what they want. And we can call them low intelligence and stupid. People know what they want. All of that is just us trying to copium ourselves into making the choice we made more palatable. PlayStation Portable I've heard a lot of bad things about. Because I almost bought one of those at one point, and I did a lot of research into them, and I'm like, ugh. No, it's so you can play your PlayStation games remotely on the Wi-Fi. But even in your own house, like meters away from your PlayStation, it sucks ass. Like, it really sucks. Like, let me put it this way, there are so many negative... there are more negative reviews than good. And the only people I hear that has good experience with it are people that have, like, massive fucking good Wi-Fi. But it is basically cloud gaming, when you think about it. You know, it is a cloud gaming device. And almost, I rarely hear anyone recommending it recommending it unless they are a massive PlayStation fanboy. Yeah, it's the PS controller with the screen in the middle, yeah. And go watch whatever YouTuber you want making reviews about it. They rarely have anything good to say about it. And the ones that say good things about it are kind of just low-key trying to, you know, be positive, because there's not much positivity to go around, to be honest. And it's sadly enough. Because it is a failed opportunity right there, man. It's a massive failed opportunity. Yeah, you can do it on your phone, yeah, and most people actually get better results doing it on their phone. You know. Game Pass is amazing, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of copium going on in the tech world. Yeah, Steam streaming is really bad. Like, I tried it a lot, and it's always like it's... Ugh. Out of the streaming services, I think Game Pass gives you the best streaming quality, and streaming is probably the worst. Like, I would be sitting on the same network a meter away from the computer I was streaming from, and it looked like ass. It just looked like ass and was laggy as fuck. Like, I'd rather use something like Parsec to remote desktop into my computer than just run that. $4C, yeah, that's chilly. That's a little bit lower than your average refrigerator. Yeah, Parsec is amazing. But yeah, it's a weird thing. I feel like the most of the users of the Steam Deck is Linux people, you know. And I have this weird feeling that one day Valve is going to just do a turnover and become worse than fucking Microsoft. Because they are controlling so big of a market right now that Gabe just have to have one bad breakup with his girlfriend or not getting his dick blown one day and to become the evilest fucking man on earth. And you do know the saying about absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I have a feeling that they heck, you can even look at the Steam Deck that they're trying to monopolize the handheld gaming market. Because now all the people that have games on their PC, they are like, well, you have to buy a Steam Deck to keep your library, you know. I've heard a lot of people not liking the touchpad. Yeah, a lot of people have problems with it, I've heard. The same with the keyboard. I've heard a lot of people having issues with that one. Well, no gaming console is open source. The Steam Deck is not open source. And free. Well, definitely not free software. It's not better than a laptop touchpad, no. It's what you would expect from a tiny little square that is compositive touchpad. Like you can use it for your basic shit and that's it. I hear people bitch and like I have a lot of friends that have but I have a few friends that have the Steam Deck. And if they always like, if I recommend a game to them, do I need to use my trackpad? No, you can use it just okay. And they are almost only using it basically as a handheld computer because they're always plugged in. Because they don't get much battery life. So I think the Steam Deck with Cyberpunk gets about 2 hours of gameplay out of it. And then it just a little bit over 2 hours. And I think that's on medium settings. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you probably get better gaming on a fucking tablet anyway than any handheld device, to be honest. Like, if you could play your Steam games on a tablet, that would kill the Steam Deck and the Nintendo. Or if Nintendo had like an app you can play Nintendo games on your tablet, that would kill the Nintendo Switch. Hey, it's a strange thing. Extron. This is a really bad AI generated penguin. Xbox has a lot of good games, yeah. A lot of good games. Xbox is like Xbox is the platform that gives you the best variety and the best games. Like, PlayStation is doing so bad that it's even bad in Japan. Like, they can barely sell them in Japan. Like, PlayStation just have a really bad, like, first-party support. Most of the games that you use on your PlayStation are PlayStation 4 games. They have, like, when it comes to, like, gaming, PlayStation have done a really bad job of supporting this generation. Really bad job. Like, the only reason I have a PlayStation is that it was cheaper than a Xbox. That's it. Because I'd rather have an Xbox and pay for their Game Pass. Because I barely have to pay, I barely have to pay any or buy any games then. But yeah, Sony have just not supported the PlayStation that well. A Game Pass is like a really good deal. No, the only reason why Xbox wins is because of Game Pass. It's not because of the dominance, it's just the Game Pass deals. That's it. Like, you can have an Xbox and never pay for a game. If you want to. And you will get a lot of good AAA and AA and single A games. Plus, Xbox is super backward compatible. PlayStation only really supports PlayStation 4 games. Maybe like a PlayStation 3 here and there. Well, Sony could have done the same. Sony tries to do the same with their Sony Pass or what the fuck it's called. The problem is that Microsoft did it first. And, the first one out of the gate gets the spoils. Sony's trying to do, Sony and, I can't remember the other one, but Sony's doing the exact same thing now, where they're trying to do what Microsoft's doing with Game Pass. And Sony has a better gaming reputation than Microsoft have. It's just the fact that Microsoft did it before anyone else. So they were the first one out of the gate of doing it. And now that everyone else sees that, there's actually a lot of money to be made in it, Microsoft have picked up all the good developers. Because nobody did it in the beginning. It's not about their dominance. Sony probably have more money in their gaming department than Microsoft has. Like, Sony has a lot of money in their PlayStation department. It's not like every department in Microsoft shares the same bank account. Like... No, Microsoft don't pay big money to Nvidia for their support. Nvidia want to support Windows because it's the biggest OS in the world. It's that simple. If you think Microsoft is paying Nvidia to only support them, you are mistaken. It's Nvidia's best interest. Owning Windows has no influence in the console world. That don't matter. it don't matter that they own Windows in the console world. That's like a stupid comparison. Xbox do run Windows, but Microsoft owning Windows don't matter. Sony is probably a bigger company than Microsoft. If you take all the Sony divisions and put them together. Sony does a lot of crazy shit. Again, Game Pass is not always compatible with Windows. Game Pass don't mean you can play your games all the places. There are games that only work on your console, and there are games that only works on Windows. Being Windows compatible is up to the developer if they want to do it. Just like if you want to support PlayStation and Windows and Xbox is up to the developer. Heck, even sometimes when you buy a game on your Xbox, it won't come up on your Windows machine. Because it's up to the developer if you're getting both games or both supported versions. I feel there is a lot of narrative, or wanted to spin a narrative that don't exist here. Well, Nvidia should pay Microsoft for the 5000 series. Well, Nvidia should pay everyone for the fucking ludicrous 5000 series launch. The matter of the fact is, there are more first-party support for Xbox than there are for PlayStation. There are better games for PlayStation than there are for Xbox. Xbox than there are for PlayStation. Like I said before, you want to know what the best thing is? The thing most people buy. Most people buy Xboxes. Last generation, it was PlayStations. Well, if well, Nvidia kind of stopped making gaming graphic cards like when the RTX thing kind of came out. Nvidia is not a gaming company anymore. They spend most of their money and most of their research and shit like that on AI and the corporate world. We are just lucky that they still produce gaming graphic cards. And I honestly think if they, had it not been because they have this long of a legacy, yeah, but Sony has a lot of sister companies. Sony owns a lot of companies that is kind of not independent, but you know. So Samsung. This is another fun fact. Samsung has government departments that's not under the same umbrella as Samsung, but it is Samsung. They are its own independent company with its own independent finance department and everything like that, but it's still Samsung. It's just split up for sometimes legal reasons and monopoly reasons and stuff like that. I think Google had to split up a company and Microsoft had to split up at some point because of monopoly reason. So they are still owned by Google and Microsoft, but they are run as an independent company. But okay, how big is the so how much money do the Microsoft Xbox division have versus the Sony PlayStation division? That would be the interesting figure to figure out. Who's spending most money? But yeah, like I said, I honestly think if if it was up to Nvidia, they will stop producing gaming graphic cards because there's no money in it. Like, there's no money in gaming graphic cards anymore. The computer enthusiast is dying. And the ones that are left are so stupid that we are willing to pay stupid amount of money for a graphic card. Just so we can say, oh, I'm a part of the PC master race. Like nowadays, you could probably save a lot, well, you can save a lot of money if you ditched your gaming computer. And you just became a console computer. Because it's such a money pit just to get started. You can get a long way. So CCA, so that's the... So at most, Microsoft is spending $4 billion more on games. On their gaming department, which is basically nothing. When we're talking companies like that. I hear a lot of people like the Xbox interface on the Steam Deck. Well, Microsoft. Well, that's because the companies that Microsoft own, they support Microsoft technologies. So they do a lot with them. They just don't do a lot with them that you see. So they typically buy a lot of companies for that technology, and then they're using that technology in products that you don't think about that they're using it in. That's kind of like what businesses do. So instead of, let's say they need like an encoder or something like that, they if there's a company out there that do something really great with encoders, they just buy that company and implement that technology into products where they need those encoders, but they don't tell you about it because they own the company. They don't have to, you know. So if you're using a Palm OS device, anything that has to do with Palm, or Palm, or what the fuck it's called in the States, there's a big chance you're using BOS code. If you've been to the hospital, or driving a car, there is about a 90% chance you have used or interacted with an operating system called QNX. It dominates the car world, and it dominates the medical industry world. Not Linux, QNX. And on a lot of modern cars, the front end or the widgets you see in the car is more likely Qt widgets. If you think Bing is useless, you have no idea. Like, you really have no idea. If you're doing any development, Bing is probably, besides Copilot, the best search tool ever. If you're doing any Microsoft-related work, it's the best search tool ever because it's integrated with Microsoft technologies. Bing has the best image search ever. Not Google, but Bing. You know the thing where you search on Google now and you get like an AI response? Bing have had that for months before Google did it. Yeah, the whole AI integration, yeah, they did that way before Google did it. Or any other search engine did it. The same with the Edge browser. It's so far ahead of Google's Chrome that it's not even funny. But a lot of people just dismiss it because it says Microsoft, and then being Microsoft Edge. They have never used it or studied it. They just, it's Microsoft, so it has to be bad. They're actually really good tools. Like, if you're on a laptop and run Windows, run Edge. It will save you a lot of battery life. Like a shit ton of battery life. Copilot is great for development. It's the best. Like, Copilot is probably the best development AI out there. Yeah, for work I use Bing and Edge all the time. Well, I use Copilot all the time. And we have tested it with the GTP and Gemini and all of these other ones. And the only reason why some developers don't use it is because they already have a subscription to some of the other ASI. Because Copilot just gives them better results when it comes to development. Well, that's because most people want to watch shorts. It's taking, like, people are so low, what the fuck is the word? Attention span nowadays that they can't watch a video. Hey, Greg. Or Jolt. Denmark is not going to Linux. It's false representation. It's false news. It's a... They translated an article bad, and now, so what they are doing is they are testing LibreOffice. And at most, if it works, it's 200 people. 200 people that are going to use it. At most. And not Linux, but LibreOffice. Because they mistranslated it. So they are testing LibreOffice for about 100 people for X amount of months, and if that goes right, they may roll it out to the... And it's only one department in 2 cities, not the whole country. It's 2 cities and 1 department in each city that are doing it. It's massively overrepresented by the Americans, because they didn't check their sources. They just translated a Danish article into American, probably using AI, and it fucked it up. It fucked it up. And they just went with it. It's so bad that in a lot of articles you see Danish IT specialists, even people working for the Danish government, as correcting them. So, yeah, here's the thing. I'm going to piss off. I love pissing people off, but if you hear anything from an American news outlet, it's probably wrong. That's how bad reporting in America is. If it comes from a traditional media source, blog post, article in a paper, it's probably wrong. Probably wrong. Also the BBC, yeah. If it comes out from the BBC, it's probably wrong also. Yeah, the Americans have lost any fucking, like, skills in reporting whatsoever. Yeah, it's so funny that for many, many years, Americans were confused when they when they traveled around Europe and they saw CNN in Europe versus CNN in the States. Because they were like, wait, you're actually getting the news on CNN and it's not just propaganda and bullshit. Yeah, because if they're a news station, they can't do propaganda shit. They actually have to report the news. And they're like, but this is not the same news we're getting in the States, not because American news stations are not news stations. They are, most of them are registered as entertainment stations or entertainment programs. So they don't have to report the news. They can make up whatever shit they want. You know. Well, propaganda is not just reserved for the government. Propaganda is... like Linux users do a lot of propaganda, for example. Propaganda is just propaganda. You know. And you see a lot of fucking crazy people. Should I go get my beer? Like, I have a liter of beer in the fridge that's super cold. I was hoping for some angry Linux users so I could yell and scream at them today. Because I told them that they were bad for pirating software. Well, I'm not getting drunk from one beer. I will probably get tipsy. But I'm not getting drunk. How to be a bad person? Well, I don't think we need a guide for that. Yeah, but here's the thing. No, yeah, that's what they do. They argue about, like, well, I'm taking for rich people, you know, morality and stuff like that. The matter of fact is, you can debate till your ass falls off. If it's against the law, it's against the law. If taking software, pirating software is regarded as stealing by the law, you are stealing. And you can get in trouble. It's that simple. You may not agree with it, but that's not the point. The law says it is stealing, therefore it's stealing. It's that there's no debate. Like, if you get, let's say you get caught pirating software, and you are in court, and you get like a free ticket because you say, oh, well, I'm not really stealing because it's not a physical item and they already made enough money and morally and blah, blah, blah. And I would not have bought it anyway, so therefore it's okay. If I just say, you know what, Billy Bob Redneck? You made a really good argument. Let's forget about the law and you could go out and fuck your sister. If that ever happens, I will say, you're right. You are totally right. But the matter of fact is that if you steal software and someone wants to sue you, they can throw you in jail for it. And they have. So no matter what you think or what you would like the world to be, if the law says it's illegal, it's illegal. It's that fucking simple. And there's many laws that we may not agree with. But then you go into politics and change them. You don't change them by breaking them. That's what, bad people do. And I don't know why this is such a fucking big issue for people. Other than people don't want to pay for shit and just want free shit. So they're justifying getting free shit because they just want free shit. And they don't like being called a bad person when they really are a bad person. Yeah, but you know why it's free? You know why public transport is free for those people? Because they paid their whole life for that privilege. And you know who pays for the kids? People like me that pay taxes. That's an agreement we've gone into the government, or we have with the government we live in. When I get old or pension age, I get discount in a lot of public things. Because I've been paid taxes my whole life. So they're like, you know what? Pay less for things. Enjoy your golden years. It's nothing like stealing or pirating at all. Like, people are so misinformed about these things, it's not even funny. let's say the game had no protection, no DRM whatsoever. If you steal it or pirate it, you are stealing. And then there's like, nowadays, if you buy it, you don't own it. If you agree to the end user license and you still give them money, well, you agree to this fucking agreement. You have no justification to bitch and moan. You can't come up to me and say, hey, can I borrow your car if I fill it up with gas for a day and then just never return it? Well, I paid for the gas, so therefore I paid for the car, so it's mine now. No, we made an agreement that you're only renting the car for a day. If you buy anything that has a legal document attached to it, and you agree to it, you can't complain. I don't care if governments do illegal shit, they do illegal shit. If my neighbor kills their fucking parents, is it okay for me to kill my parents? Because that's the argument you're making. It's so fucking like... Yeah, I would love to see these people get caught and then try to twist their nuts in front of a judge on how they're justified of doing it. And I love this argument. And I will tell you why this argument is bullshit. Oh, well, I live in a poor country, I don't have a lot of money, so therefore I can't buy software. And I'm like, okay, let's unpack that argument a little bit. You are sitting right now on the internet that costs money to have access to, watching let's say a YouTube video which requires a decent fucking internet connection, which can cost even more money. And you clearly have clothes on, like decent expensive clothes or somewhat expensive clothes. You have shoes, you can buy food. You have an apartment. You probably also have a job. You have PC, yeah, which is expensive. So you have all of these things. So you can go onto the internet and say you have no money. Like, if you have no money, you would not be on the internet. If you are that poor, you would not be on the internet. It's that simple. Like, if you have any modern communication device, you are not poor. You are not rich either, but you are definitely not poor. Like, you are more privileged than you think you are. And this thing that, I don't have a lot of money, so therefore it's okay to borrow. No, it's not. People that got fucking, like... There are people that have gotten decades of jail time for pirating software. Decades. And here's the kicker. If you sell or give away pirated software, you're really in big problem, man. Because now you're a distributor. And they will hit you harder than if you were just a user consumer. Yeah, hosting illegal shit is like that. That's the one they go after first. Because those are the one that gets the biggest sentences. If you are torrenting illegal software, you definitely can go to jail. Because you're a distributor. Yeah, you'll get a harder sentence than if you were just downloading it. It don't matter if it's not longer available. If there is a document that says you can't do it, even if if the owner of the software say that you can't do it, even though they don't sell it anymore, you can go to jail. Congratulations, you are now a thief or a distributor of stolen goods. if the owner of the software, or if there is no license or any restriction around that software say you can't do it, you are fine. But you need to have those legal documents ready. And again, this is just what the law says, not what, is it like morally okay, or what are your personal opinion on it. This is what happens. And if they want to make an example out of you, like there are people have gotten sued for hundreds of thousands of dollars for downloading or distributing just a few videos and software. Or pirate software, he will go nuts about it. Remember, if you dressed up in a furry suit, he'll probably agree with you because he gets horny as a motherfucker. And if you have a knob, he will get even fucking hornier. Exactly, Wilson. Exactly. If there is a license or something attached to that manual, so let's say like a company makes an internal manual for internal use only, and it states this can only be used for internal use only, and is not permitted to be shared or used with the public, you can get in trouble. You need to understand the copyright law for that manual. The matter of fact, the biggest problem here is that you are sharing shit you don't even know if you can share. That's the problem. You have, if you're redistributing something, you better fucking know the law about what you're redistributing before you're doing it. Or else you will end up one day with a fucking gun to your face. And the next thing you see is like being bent over the fucking toilet in a cell and getting rammed by Big Billy Bob. So, redistribution, Linux distribution, there's actually a document that says that's illegal. Oh, no, not illegal, legal, sorry. The license of the distribution and or software clearly states that you are allowed to redistribute it. There's no debate about that. If you are sharing something that's not yours, or selling something that's not yours, you better fucking be sure you know the law around that thing that you're sharing or giving and stuff like that. No, most Linux distributions under the GPL, and it states that it's freely shareable and distributable. The GPL v1, 2, or 3 all allows for the distribution and its software to be shared. That's what most of them are under. Or each individual distribution maker will have a end-user license, basically, that says that you can freely share the distribution and blah, 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 blah. And you can use it to modify it to your own and whatnot. When I hear people trying to justify why they are pirating stuff, it's no different than hearing a drug dealer justifying why he's a drug dealer. Or a murderer trying to justify that they are a murderer. They are all doing bad things. Some are, of course, more worse than others, but they are all doing bad things and trying to justify why they're doing bad things. It's that simple. It's that fucking simple. And you can have all the best arguments in the world for why you think, and this is the thing here, you think it should not be like that. But that don't matter one fucking shit. If the law says one thing, it says one thing. And if you don't agree with that, you have to change that law, and you don't do that by breaking it. Like, the only reason why I'm murdering everyone I see is because I don't agree with the murdering law. You know, it makes no sense. I don't agree with the sales tax on chocolate, so therefore I'm stealing chocolate. It makes no fucking sense. You know. Yeah, exactly. The same people that hate Microsoft will pirate Windows. It's just so, like... I don't know why this is so big of a fucking problem. Like, if you say, I pirate software, I know it's illegal, I don't give a fuck. No fucking discussion to be made. No fucking discussion. It's when you're like, I'm pirating software, and let me explain why I'm the good guy here. That's the problem. Like, if a fucking bank robber robs a bank and get caught and say, yeah, I'm a fucking bank robber, what the fuck did you expect? I have no fucking respect for law and other people's property. Hey, fine, I know why the fuck you're doing it. But but they don't sit and, well, some will do, but it was different, like, if they got caught fucking robbing a bank. Oh, I'm basically Robin Hood here because I'm taking for the rich and giving to the poor, aka me and my family, so therefore I should really not go to jail. That's the problem we have here. Is that you're trying to justify doing an illegal thing. Well, pirate software just got out as being a gay furry, basically. And being into... Allegedly being into animal porn. Allegedly being into animal porn. He has allegedly wrote to another guy about things he wants to do with each other in furry suits and talking about animal genitalia and stuff like that. Well, worse than a furry. It's borderline animal, you know, zoophilia kind of thing. You know. But just go on to YouTube, there are plenty of videos about that. And here's the thing, the problem I have with pirate software is his narcissistic approach to everything, that he never does anything wrong. He's kind of like a popular DSP. You know, if he just owned up to it, I don't give a fuck. It's like, oh, it's not me, it's bullshit, and copywriting people that are talking about him in a negative way. Like, it's all that, you know, self-conscious, narcissistic fucking bullshit that he's doing. Had he just owned up to and say, yeah, who gives a fuck? I fuck people in furry suit. Fuck off. Just like, yeah, I'm a thief if you're pirating software. Nobody would have an issue. But it is like sleazy way of trying to talk around it and, you know, all of that fucking shit. Just own up to it if it's you. Or else sue the fucking people. I think it's a Windows thingy. I'm going to get the beer, so give me 1 second. Yeah, it's a Crimberg and double amber, malty and have a big body or something like that. I can't translate that to English from Danish because it sounds really weird. He does a lot of MS Paint shit like I do. I actually did it before him, I think. No, he... Oh, it has like a cork in it. It's really hard to get up. Why the fuck is it so difficult to get off? Oh, there you go. It may pop in my face. No, Private Software is a game developer, and I put this in quote, game developer, that basically have not really done any game development the last 5-ish years. Oh, shit. So his game development is like most other people do most of the work, and he really likes RPG Maker or something, like Game Maker, what the fuck it's called, like those entry-level gaming thingies. But yeah, he's a weird dude, man. And he's one of those people, when you hear him talk, like he thinks he's the smartest person to ever live. That's also one thing that really drives me the wrong way. It's like, just like, you know, like, you know, I don't know if you know this, but if you ever have watched Hassan Abi, or what the fuck his name is, on Twitch, like where he talks like he's like above everyone else and everyone is beneath him and they don't really know anything and he's the smartest. He comes across with the same kind of tone when he talks. Like it's like he's the king and you're the peasant that just have to fucking listen. You know, you are in the presence of royalty, my minion. You better listen while I am speaking and shutting your mouth. It's kind of that, you know. That vibe that he's getting. Like he's giving out. Well, well... So there's a lot of debate about what he actually did at Blizzard. And I don't know if what is true or not, because I don't... So a lot of the people that are going against Private Software, they are all drama, or most of them are drama channels. So you have to take what they say a lot with a grain of salt, because they a lot of time will over-exaggerate things just for views and drama and stuff. So like they are like T channels and commentary channels, and commentary channels is just a better or more palatable way of calling them to drama channels, basically. Well, Asmongold is misunderstood. I actually like him quite a lot. The problem with Asmongold is that, or well, the problem with him that people have with him is that he actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. Like, he does. You may say he don't understand it, but he does. He knows what he's talking about. And the thing with him is that he's not afraid of changing his mind if someone comes with a good compelling argument. When his fan base, like you can... Here's the thing. Never, ever listen to anyone's fan base. Never. Because they are a fan of him, so therefore they are super objective about him. Just like Linux fans are, you know... Like, if someone say that they are a massive fan of someone, you disregard what they're saying. Because they are so clouded that it's not even funny. Like, there's a lot of things I don't agree with Asmongold in. But he's like... He actually fucking listens to what's being said. And then he gives his viewpoint on it, or his opinion. Which sometimes is like, that makes sense, and sometimes it don't make sense. But he's not trying to convince you, he's not trying to bullshit you, he's not trying to make you think the way he does, and that's what I like about him. He says what he says, he stands by what he's saying until other evidence is being presented to him that makes more sense. But he's not trying to convince you or anything like that. And again, why a lot of people hate him is because he's telling it as it is. He is saying it as it is. Like, he's confronting you with a lot of things that most people not like about themselves, and he's not sugarcoating it. Like, he is... He has an ability to drive into people's like the real reason why people do something. And most of the things we do in life is selfish, self-centered, narcissistic reasons why we're doing it. It's all about us. And he points that out. And a lot of people that don't, will not like that, But yeah, he's like I said, I do like him. I have no fucking issue with him. Again, I don't agree with everything he says. There's a lot of things I don't agree with, like especially with like what Americans do and stuff like that. Yeah, Wilson, go to bed. But yeah, that's why you can't cancel him when you think about it. Because he's not trying to convince you or move you over to a party or over to a viewpoint and stuff like that. He just do whatever he does, give his opinion, and if you're being a dickhead, he bans you, make fun of you and ban you. And he's right more times than he's not, sadly enough, if you don't like him, of course. That's what really pisses people off. Is that he turns out to be right most of the time. And that's when people get really angry. Hey, Pro Shopper. Oh yeah, you're on your your other channel. Yeah. Yeah, Asmongold is misunderstood by a lot of people. And that's mostly people coming from the Hassan area and the Demons area and all that fucking shit. And then there's the fact that he lives like a fucking Neanderthal. Like, he barely showers, he don't brush his teeth, he's living like in a fucking house that's falling apart, and he's making more money than anyone else that's watching him. Like, and that alone, like, give a lot of people reasons to hate him. Yeah, I've heard about that, but I don't, like... So I've known about the Outdoor Boys for like a long time. I watched their videos on and off. Yeah, he barely has any teeth, that's true. Yeah, I think something like happened, but I can't remember. But I've seen some people talk about it, but I can't remember it right now. But it's not a channel that I was following or anything like that. They did some good videos once in a while. So most of those outdoor channels, I take with a lot of grain of salt because it's so easy to make it, well, it's so easy to fake it. No, you thought they were the same guy. Yeah, no. I think Asmongold would be glad to be put it like that. I think the Penguin Zero would not like that a lot, but they do, yeah. Yeah, he found the hack for the YouTube algorithm. Yeah. And I get it, because most people online are fucking idiots. Like, they really are idiots. Like we talked about in my Discord, like, some people left because I made that, if you're pirating software, you were stealing it, and I made like a clear-cut point that if you're talking or showing people about how to do illegal shit in my Discord, you're getting permaban, and people didn't like that. And I think it was Scooby asking why they left. Yeah, and we're not like, I'm not trying to shit on them, but when you see people that are terminally online. So, who posted the most in my Discord? Who did not follow the rules in the Discord? Those two people. But they were always online and always posting all over the place. So, people like that, have deeper issues than just they don't agree with you. Like, they have deeper things they need to sort out in their life. Because if you want to talk about red flags, people that are online all the fucking time are red flags. That means you have nothing in your life going for you other than being online and shitposting all the time. And that means you probably are struggling with a lot of fucking shit. And until you figure that shit out, or, you know, like, you may not be that good company for a lot of people. And that shows in the way that they act. Like, if you don't agree with them, they get really angry. If they can't be their irritating self, or if they have to follow rules that they think they should not follow, they get irritated and butthurt and stuff like that. But they're really not butthurt over that. They get butthurt by getting somewhat thrown in their face that they are acting in ways that are not normal or socially acceptable, or they are being confronted with that they may have some things that are not normal about them they need to figure out. So therefore, they are not angry at the situation, they're just angry at that they got confronted with, oh shit, I'm acting in a way that I probably should not be acting in. And instead of that, using that as a learning experience, they get angry and they leave, or they throw hasty fits and so on and so on. You know, and that's because, again, they have a lot of issues to work out. And then they use those excuses to act in a certain way. You know, like, oh, it's too restricted, or if I can't be a dope dealer in your room, I don't want to be here, or something of that nature, you know, yeah. Well, most of the people that are successful online spend almost no time online. Because they're busy working, you know. You don't see PewDiePie and Linus Tech Tip and all of these people sitting in Discord 10 hours a day, every day, you know. They are busy working. You don't see, like, professional developers that know what the fuck they are doing sitting on Reddit all day because they're busy working. You know, like, that's also why, like, you should never take advice from someone that you see in a forum that's always online. You know, like, if you are in a forum or Reddit or X or wherever the fuck you is, and you see the same person always being part of every conversation in there, don't listen to them. Because they're spending more time online than actually, you know, homing the skill that they are talking about, or you know, they're not doing what they are giving advice for. So if I see a name pop up a lot, I don't listen to them. It just automatically don't listen to them. Because you cannot be this great XYZ thing if you're always online. Like, you can't be always online and develop at the same time, or always be online and setting up infrastructure, or, you know. So unless it's your job, of course, like, unless you're getting paid by a company to do it, you can't do it. And most of those people, they get their information from other people, and of course they're only listening to people they agree with, so they may not get an objective opinion. They're just getting the opinion they like the most, which in a lot of instances may not even be the fucking good or right opinion, you know. Yeah, they focus on creation rather than consuming, yeah. Active Directory. I have not worked a lot with Active Directory. Not the current, well, you know, not the current, like, Azure Directory. The old one I have a little bit, you know. Yeah, I would probably do stuff like that off working hours. So if I do anything that can impact a user, I typically do it either in the lunch break or after working hours, so that job don't get infringed by it. Or I recommend people to do it like in breaks, or if it's small tasks, do it in the lunch break. If it's big tasks, do it after working hours. I don't know what to think about the new iOS until it gets released. So I like the look of it, but again, I don't really know until it gets released. Yeah, I kind of want an iPad Pro, to be honest. A lot of people are moving over to tablets instead of laptops nowadays. They saw Chris Levelby or something like that. He lives almost exclusively on a tablet. Yeah, just like Apple really are not good with beta versions, so I will not take beta versions from Apple that seriously. They tend to be all over the place. All those Windows on iPad Mini, yeah. Yeah. iPads are super expensive. At least the Pro version and Air and stuff like that. Well, again, you cannot say anything about iOS because it's not been released yet. Like, I hate when people criticizing beta and alpha versions of software because it's not a release software, so who gives a fuck? You know? Yeah, I never tried a iPad keyboard. Never. The only tablets I really had, like I had myself, have been Samsung tablets. But I have used iPads before, but I actually want one just for the fun of it, but... Yeah, I got one of my Samsung S8 I got on a carrier plan. And I really liked that a lot, to be honest. Well, the thing with the iPad Pro is like the portability and battery life aspect of it. You know, like it's smaller, it has a lesser footprint, and I see a lot of people use it for... So they will do the heavy lifting, the heavy job, or the heavy workloads on their MacBook. And then if they just need some smaller touch-up or editing, or, you know, like, oh, I need to... I misspelled this, or, oh, I need to add this to whatever. They do that on the iPad. Like you have an IDE for development and you have a text editor. So you use the IDE to develop the program, the text editor to fix smaller problems, and so on and so on. That's how I see a lot of people use iPads. They have both an iPad and a MacBook. And they will typically use the MacBook in the office, and then if they go out to either clients or other people in the office, they will take the iPad with them. So it will hold documentation and stuff like that. Yeah, you have the same M4 chip as I have in my Mac Mini then. Oh, yeah. I hate it, like, when I drink beer, like, the first 2 or 3 sips, I always get super tired, and then I get super active. Yeah, Arm and Risk is going to take over the computing world for sure, yeah. And technically, they should have done it like 5 or 10 years ago. Because we are really fucking pushing x86 to its limit. Yeah, they make it more like a proper OS or a proper desktop than a tablet. Like I said, what the fuck is his name? I follow him quite a lot. I have no idea how to spell his name. I think if we do my iPad setup. This is a super good channel also. Why is he so hard to find? I'm looking at my... there it is. Christopher... There he is. Lenovo do make good laptops, yeah. This dude here. Like, he has a lot of videos about how it is to live on... He lives almost exclusively on iPad and phone. Yeah, I do like yogas. I actually am thinking about buying a new yoga. Or not a yoga. It's so my next computer is going to be either yoga or a MacBook Air. But I just love the battery life on MacBooks. Like, the battery life and the portability on MacBooks are so fucking nice. But yeah, here, like, he's editing, I think he's editing videos in that one there, yeah. He like... Yeah, he really goes into the whole tablet thing. I will not go for the L series. If you want, like, a discount version of Lenovo ThinkPads, go for the E series. The L series is just too low quality. So get like an E14 or something like that. Because you get really good components and upgradability and all that fucking shit. And you get decent processors and whatnot. Can the Mac replace my iPad? That's 3 years ago. Yeah, Snapdragons are great, yeah. But I hear that the Snapdragons still have, like, they still need quite a bit of cooling. And what I like about Apple's is that they don't cool their Air series. Yeah, I code on an E14 also. Like 1 or 2 gen old E15. I think it's like 1 gen old. And I love it. Yeah, they have... Oh, you can enable it if you want to. I need to get back in to watch his videos. I haven't... Like, when was the last time he uploaded? 11 days ago. Why the fuck do I not get notified then? Yeah, Snapdragon I would only use if, like... I would only use it if you need good battery life on Windows. Anything else is like... I hear a lot of programs don't really work that well on Snapdragon. So yeah, use it as a consumption computer. That's the... Like, like, if I should get a Snapdragon, it would be like a couch computer, where you just sit and, you know... write in... Google Docs or watch YouTube, Netflix and stuff like that. Because I hear a lot of programs don't work that well on Snapdragon yet. Like, if I needed like a production computer with good battery life, I would go with Apple. You know. Well, Windows are like Windows is snappy if you have decent hardware. Well, it's also snappy if you don't have decent hardware. But people forget how, you know. Yeah, I've just heard a lot of people have issues with like random fucking programs. And you may be lucky that all the programs that you have, you know, just work, which is amazing. But I've just heard people just random fucking weird programs that don't, not weird, but it's just random programs that don't work that they need. Or they crashes all the time. But developers are starting to support Snapdragon more and more and more. So it's just a matter of, like, just like with the first gen of the M1 series, like the first 6 months to a few years, there was a lot of adoption pain, I think is the right word. Yeah, I right now I think like if you're using the big ones, like big programs, you should be okay. So Adobe, DaVinci, all of these things, you should be okay. It's more like, you know, maybe Notepad++ don't work that well, or you know. Yeah, Mac has a little bit of growing pain back in the day. Yeah. Changing my relationship with the iPad. So he's using the iPad as his main computer since 2015. He lost some weight. What is it with Dr. Pepper? Why do people love that shit? Yeah, we have talked about that command many times now. I'm ending up making a video so it can just guide you to the video. Again, it's a thing that Adobe tells you that is going to happen, that you get informed about is going to happen before you subscribe, so if you agree to the agreement, it's kind of fucking on you. Like, Krita sucks. Like, Krita is good, but it's not good for professional work. Well, I haven't had any, but I also only use, what is it called? Prime Video, and that was really easy to unsub from. He does have some fucking good hair game going on. You mean kick? Well, Quitza is great for if you just want to test out if it's something you like or something like that. Yeah, again, I've never used a keyboard and trackpad for any tablet, to be honest. Yeah, he does multi-stream, yeah. Yeah, it's fucking expensive, man. Like, it's super expensive. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about becoming like a Windows and Mac channel. Well, I'm thinking about ditching this channel, to be honest. Well, I will only live stream on this channel. And then talk Windows and Mac on another channel I have. And also development and stuff like that. Two and one laptops. You have to be careful, you know. There's a lot of moving parts that can go wrong in them. Yeah, when I buy if I buy a Yoga, I don't want a 2-in-1. I just want a stock standard Yoga. I don't need the whole 2-in-1 aspect. But I honestly think I'm going Apple for my laptop because honestly, the only reason that I need Windows is for work. You know. No, downloading YouTube videos, unless you are Prime YouTube Prime member, or Premium member, sorry, it's not legal, no. Yeah, I'm looking at the slim versions, yeah. But like I said, I may just go Apple, because I love my MacBook Air. And what I do on Windows, like I could like, so I have like an old app. I can't talk. A Mac Mini M2, and I was thinking about making that my streaming computer. So I can, yep, you can actually go to jail if a YouTuber wants to sue you. You can end up in jail for using it. Yeah. Yeah, so I was thinking about setting up my old Mac Mini as a dedicated streaming computer and stream from that one. Streaming / recording computer for YouTube videos. Yeah, it's just a base model with 8 gig of RAM, and just for streaming and recording videos, or use it as a, because then I will have like an account that's, you know, like I will make like an Apple, another Apple account that is just used for only content creation. So there's no personal shit on it, basically. Because right now it's just sitting and doing nothing. What shell? I don't know what you mean by shell. Yeah, so my MacBook Air is also a M1 MacBook Air, and it works amazing. Like, I do light coding on it. I even fucking edit videos on it once in a while, and it's still, like, it's not the fastest, but it's still kind of okay. No, what is it called? Seashell is what they use. Yeah, it's like what I use most in my MacBook Air is mostly just my bed couch computer. So I use it mostly just to consume, or if I need to research something or a little bit of shopping, I use it for that also. Yeah, ZS8. Yeah. I kind of like that. Yeah, a crappy Chromebook will do for that, yeah. I do like Apple products. I know I should not like them, but I really do like them. Like, my iPhone is 2 years old. It don't feel 2 years old. Any Android phone I've used after 2 years, it feels outdated. Well, yeah, like the monitors is where I'm like, you can get better monitors for less money. I have, like I said, I have the last, or well, I have an S21. That's the last Samsung device I had, or Samsung phone I had. I've been Apple since then. Well, I used that for like 2 years, and then I became Apple. Yeah, here Samsung is going to, put a lot of those features behind the paywall. Yeah, I know that the Pixel has a lot of the same capabilities. I really want to like what is it called? Apple Music, but I just don't like that you can even when you pay for it, you can't play it on 2 devices, and you can't just continue what you're listening to on one device on another one. It's just like, but I do like the quality of Apple Music. Yeah, I like Samsung more than Google Pixels, to be fair, also. Have you guys seen that paper Apple did about how everyone is faking AI? Like the AI illusion. This one here. They're always Indian. Yeah, yes, Pro Shopper, yeah. Yeah, so basically, we are all being fooled. No, they have openly said that they fucked up AI. This is like so they have researched LLMs and how good they are and stuff like that, and they basically found out that, well, it's bullshit. They are not as good as people say they are, and most people that use the term AI are not really using AI, they're just using algorithms. Is this the one? Yeah, here. So they make examples where they ask it. So here's another thing. ChatGPT got beaten by an Atari. What is it called? Atari. What is the old Atari called? From the 60s? It beaten, like an old 60s computer beat ChatGPT in chess. Yeah, vibe coding. If you're vibe coding, you can just say your development job goodbye, because you will be found out and you cannot fix your problems and you will get fired. It's the easy way to unemployment. But yeah, all these like AI models are getting fucking beat left, right, and center at the moment. Yeah, what the fuck is it? Like, oh, 78. So 78 Atari beats ChatGPT in chess. Like AI. How can I explain this in a nice way? A lot of the things we are using AI for are actually not that fucking complicated. You know? Like, it's complicated to make... Like, it's not like you can just do it in, like, 5 minutes, but... The workload... Like searching the internet, you don't need an AI. Like, when you use Copilot for, let's say, coding... You really don't need an AI for that. And that's where a lot of people cheat. Where they will call algorithms AIs and stuff like that. Because they technically are. Or call it a predictable model. Like Google have used AI for over a decade in the search engine. They just didn't call it AI, they just called it something else. You know. Like removing your voice from background noises. People have been able to do that for over a decade now. Now they're using machine learning and AI and neural networks to do it. And a lot of it is an illusion. So they built the AI, the networks to be really good at one task. And fail at everything else. So there's a prediction that we are living in an AI bubble right now and it will burst in the near future. You know. And people that have invested too much money into AI, then they will go bust. So AI and large language models and stuff like that. Yeah, so... So in like 5 or 6 years, we will get a lot of people moving into the corporate world that got their education purely by AI. And they are going to fall so flat on their dick that they can't do any work. And the employer will see so fast how dependent they are on their computer screen and an AI that they're getting fired really fast. So we'll get a lot of people with a degree and or an education that they can't use because it's basically an AI that took that education. You know, and in the end, they're only cheating themselves. Yeah, but instead of using ChatGPT, I could just have Googled it and gotten the same information. And that's what ChatGPT does, more or less. You know. Google has had AI for years. Like, all the companies that now say they have AI have had it for probably over a decade. There have been AI summary for over a decade. There have been programs that could summarize a text for over a decade. The only difference between AI today and in the past is, of course, that they are a little bit faster. But what ChatGPT and Copilot and all of those fucking idiots do, They just present the data to you in a human manner. That's the only difference. They are speaking to you instead of just presenting you the data. Yeah, if you took that picture of that socket and you found like a picture analyzing program, it could do the same. You could build a program that can analyze wiring and determine the way that it's wired what it is. Because wiring is not that difficult. And there are probably pictures online where you can compare your wiring to, and that's it. You know, you can get your information that way. Well, there were AI all the way back to, I think, the 60s or something like that. Almost every video game you have ever played have used some form or another of an AI. What they have done today is, it's actually really clever when you think about it. They have made it magical. Well, I would have taken the picture and gone on to electrical engineering forum and posted a picture and said, what should I do? And then someone would answer. What was it coming at? Yeah, they just made it. They have made it so it's fooling most people. Like, I look at AI as a faster Google search. That's it. No, you will not. If you post that picture in an engineering forum and stuff like that, you will not get those remarks. That's only Linux. Not only, but it's mostly the Linux community that are atheists like that. If you actually go into places where people actually like learning places and stuff like that, they will actually help you out. You know. Like, the AI models we have today is actually super fucking simple, still. And their capabilities, or lack of capabilities, are being masked really well. But they are really not that smart as you think they are. Like I said, look at them as a faster Google search. And if you're vibe coding, you're basically just copy-pasting from Stack Overflow or something like that. Instead of you copy-pasting, the AI is copy-pasting for you. Yeah, never use Reddit. That's the first problem. Reddit is not a good site. Reddit is for terminally online. You know the people I said you should never listen to? Reddit people. Terminally online people, Reddit users. You never use Reddit, you never use Facebook to get information. Unless you are in a good Facebook group. You go to the Jellyfin server, what is it called? Forum or something like that. Yeah, but again, you can like Google how to set up a dynamic DNS. You will get many super easy, instructions. Like, the only difference between using an AI and Google is that on Google you need to know what you're searching for. Or you need to know how to ask Google. Because if you know how to ask Google, you can find anything. And in the end, what those AI things do, they use to train models or train data which comes from search engines anyway. They are just, what is it called? Presenting it in a more easily digestible manner. They curate the data for you, so you don't have to do it. Yeah, you could have typed your modem into Google and got the same results. If you turn your modem around, you take a picture of the serial number shit in the back, and you put that into Google, you get everything you need to know about that modem. Heck, you can even take the picture and then use OCR to extract the number, so you don't have to type it in. Yeah, like AI is a faster Google search. Like, if you don't know how to find statistics or data sheet of your modem, I think you should need to learn that first. Because that's a skill you should know. That's like infrastructure 101 or computing 101. So here's the thing, it will not take you hours to find that information. All that you have said right now, you could have found without AI in under 30 minutes. But I get it, AI is magical because it does things you don't understand. It is on the, well, there will be like an item number, serial number, but there will like the most common information would be at the back of the modem, yeah. But if you want to know exactly its capabilities, you just take the part number or serial number, put that into Google, and you get a data sheet over the fucking thing. And then you just have to find what you're looking for on the data sheet. It depends on what, because Google lenses many things. Google Lens is not just taking pictures. Yeah, and again, your serial number on your modem dictates what it can do. It's that simple. A different modem with different capabilities will have a different identifier. And you can Google that in 10 seconds. Reverse image search, yeah, there's many alternatives for that. Yeah, like any device. That's how they know what item to put in what box on the assembly line. You know, that's how they distinguish the item on the assembly line. Like, I feel like we're getting into a fucking society where they can't take a piss without asking ChatGPT. Then you Google it. Again, Google it and you'll get an answer in 5 seconds. But yeah, we are getting into a society where people can't take a piss without fucking ask ChatGPT first. How do I unbutton my buttons? Yeah, a lot of people use AI for stupid fucking shit they should not use it for. Like, if you are a coder and you have to ask ChatGPT to do print hello world, you are not a coder. If you're a tech guy and you can't find information about your modem without an AI, you're not a tech guy. I'm sorry to say it. Like, if you can't find basic information without an AI, you need to learn the basics of what you're doing first. Like, if you need to ask an AI about what Ethernet cable you should use, you need to educate yourself in that area. If you do that in any shape or form as a hobbyist or professional. AI is a tool. It's a supplement. It's not a replacement. And when I see people use AI for everything, then it becomes a replacement. And then, like I said, one day you'll be in a huddle and you don't have access to the AI. You people see how little you know about your fucking thing. You will get fired. Here's the thing. The fact that you say it's super capable means you don't know what you're talking about. Because AIs are not super capable. You should look at AI with the same skepticism that if you ask a stranger that you don't know about something. AI have recommended people to put fucking poison in their food. Because they took a picture of their cabinet and said, what can I make out of this? And if you're just using it for, they say like your friend that used it to refine his engine, he should have looked. He was lucky that it worked, but he should have verified that that was the right thing to do. He should have verified it before he did it. You don't learn. So here's the thing: you don't learn faster by using AI. You think you do. You get to the answer faster. But, and this is scientifically proven, that people learn better by fixing problems themselves and not getting told the answer. So that means, like, let's say you can't build a chair. And you were like, I can't build a chair, I'm asking AI. Or you're asking me, and I'm telling you how to build the chair. You have not learned how to build the chair. Or if the AI tell you how to build the chair, you have not learned how to build the chair. But if you sit and you try and build that chair on your own without any help, you will remember that way better and longer than if I told you how to do it, or the AI told you how to do it. That's what I mean by AI as a tool. You use AI if you already have the knowledge, but you have forgotten a minor detail, or like, oh, how I'm doing an RJ42 cable. How should I twist the cables? I can't remember that. Is it green to black and stuff like that? Use an AI. But you should already know or have learned that principle. Or let's say like, okay, I want to do Hello World in Python. You should know how to do that on your own without any help first. And then, let's say in 6 months, you're like, fuck, I know it's print. Is it parentheses or no parentheses? I can't remember. That's when you use the AI. Again, people that use AI to learn, on quotes, that's the biggest fucking red flag I see in anyone. Like, fine, if you're doing something, let's say you're building the same chair and you just have, that's the first chair, the only chair you're ever going to build. I'm not interested in learning how to build a chair. I'm never going to do that anymore again. Yes, use AI to build the chair. If it's just like a one-time thing. But let's say I want to learn coding. You should learn the basics before you use AI. So the program that you want to build you should have been able to build that before you use AI, or build 90% of it without any help other than the manuals. So again, let's say you want to be an infrastructure person and you can't even figure out what cable to connect to your router. Well, you have to learn that first before you ask an AI. Because AI is not teaching you, it's telling you. Like you can't, so with Copilot, and any other one for that matter. So let's say I like, how do I do this in C#? and it will give me a code snippet. And I can be like, can you explain that in great detail? And it will teach me how to do that thing. That's how you should do it, if you are going to use an AI. No, it's more dangerous to blindly trust an AI than Google things on the internet. Because when you're Googling things on the internet, you can see the source. You know where it's coming from, which is a validation in of itself. Again, I will say you this with 100% guarantee, you are going to get into so many problems in the future. I'm just putting it out there. Because you are becoming, the AI is becoming you, and you don't learn anything. Learning is not easy. I don't know why people think learning should take like 5 seconds. If something is fast and easy, you are not learning. It's that simple. So if you want to learn, do it fucking hard way. Like, of course, use AI, but don't use it as a replacement. And if you are using it, make sure that it's also teaching you and that you are validating what it says is true. So again, how do I do this in C#? If it's something you don't understand, can you reference the place in Microsoft Learn? It will give you a link to Microsoft Learn where the documentation will tell you what to do and why you're doing it. A tool is not a tool. A hammer is a tool. A hammer can put in nails, it can close doors, it can open doors, it can open windows, it can put in spark plugs, it can take out spark plugs. A hammer is a tool. A tool is not just a tool. You have to use the right tool for the right job. I can use a spanner for many things. I can use a screwdriver for many things. That don't mean I have to use a screwdriver for many things. This is definitely not like using no. Let me be really blunt with you right now. All the things you just talked about with the router and stuff like that. If you want to talk tech on YouTube, you should already know how to get that information or know most of that information before you talk tech on YouTube. Like, this is me being totally honest right now. If you need ChatGPT to help you with your router, and you can't do it without it, you should not talk tech on YouTube. Because someone will ask you a question and you look like a fool. Because you're standing with ChatGPT in your hand. Or you're giving some information you got from ChatGPT that you don't know what the fuck is going on. It's giving you some bogus fucking answer. ChatGPT is great, but you have to... It's like... It's the same problem we had with like Denmark is moving over to Linux. Why did everyone in America said that? Because they fucking translated a Danish article with an AI. So they got it wrong. Denmark is not moving to Linux. If you don't know, you don't know. That's why you validate the sources. And if you're going to talk about anything online, you better make sure that you have your proof for what you're talking about. Because people will get after you, people that don't like what you're saying. 100% sure. Give it, like, right now, you're fine, but when you reach 1,000 plus, they will come after you. Because there's someone else that thinks they're smarter than you. So they're like, where's your sources? It's ChatGPT. Okay, where's ChatGPT sources? I have no idea. And then they will catch you. They will get you in gotcha moment. And trust me, that's not fucking fun. It's not fun. If you don't know something, learn it. You don't need to know everything. But you are using ChatGPT for things you should know. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you can't figure out what your modem can do without ChatGPT, you don't know much about IT. So if you can't figure that one out without ChatGPT, why should I listen to you making a laptop review where you can figure out anything about that laptop by its serial number? And I mean everything. In 1 minute. Well, you're saying you're using it to find information. To get information. If you're getting information, you also are going to spread that information. You just spread that information right now in chat. Like, honestly, ChatGPT is the worst thing that has ever happened to the world. Besides social media. Because people are putting so much faith into it. So much faith. Because it helps them a lot. And it's right a lot. But I can also Google something and it tells myself to shove a fucking shovel up my ass. Well, Google said it, so I have to do it then, apparently. Like, I again, red flags. If people need to use ChatGPT for everything, there is a problem. If you can't, like, ChatGPT should be used in case of emergency, break this window. Or oh fuck, I did this last week, I can't remember how I do it. Use ChatGPT. Or for the sake of like a place where I would say use it almost blindly. Oh, I get this document in fucking Spanish or Japanese. Yeah, use ChatGPT to translate it. You know, just like you use Google Translate and stuff like that. But when you're going to do technical shit, where you can break shit or give misinformation, don't trust ChatGPT. Always verify where it's coming from. So again, with Copilot, that's why I love Copilot. It will give you the sources where it gets the information from. So it will say, like, do this, and then it will give, like, a number or something like that. And if I can see that comes from Reddit, okay, I'm disregarding that. Because that 50% chance that's right. If it's from Stack Overflow, that, well, do this, and then source, Stack Overflow, I'm like, that will probably be a better, you know, I should probably do that. You know. But this, like, yeah, this whole plight and use of AI is just a massive red flag. Like, massive red flag. Like, if you can't find the same information by using Google, you should learn how to do that with Google before you use ChatGPT. Yeah, having access to teachers is the best, yeah. But I don't know if ChatGPT actually tells you the sources because I don't use ChatGPT. I never liked ChatGPT. I don't like the company that makes ChatGPT. Well, Microsoft owns ChatGPT and are basically using it with Copilot, but Copilot is more development focused, if you ask me. Where ChatGPT and Gemini, they are more general purpose focused. Yeah, you can ask it, but you should not have to ask it. That's the problem here. It should be there automatically, where the sources are from. But yeah, like, again, I'm just telling you. First of all, most people not hire someone that's reliant on ChatGPT. I would not work with anyone that is that reliant on ChatGPT for anything. If I'm talking to someone and their head is buried into ChatGPT, I'm not talking to them anymore. Because they can't think for themselves. They are basically just a conduit for other random people on the internet. So they may come out and say Hitler is the best fucking theoretical thinker on Earth because, well, my AI told me so. Like, when it came to your wiring thing, I would have validated that online with at least 2 or 3 other sources before I did anything with wiring. Because you can burn down your fucking house if you don't do it right. You know. So if it's the same with like tuning the engine, I will validate that information 2 or 3 or 4 other places. To make sure I'm not fucking anything up. Because it's like I said, AI has told people to put poison in their food many times before. There have been... Well, AI's fucked it up so many times, it's not even funny. The blind trust in AI is just it's a massive red flag. Like... Yeah. Well, if you knew you were right, why did you need AI then? You know. One small rock a day to be healthy. What is the sources? Where did the sources come from? No, but like, read this paper here. And there's many other papers like this. There's other than Apple that have done this. Read it? Oh, that makes sense then. And you will learn to use AI really, 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 really carefully. Yeah, I know I've heard other people say that. Yeah, glue to pizza. I've heard that one before also, yeah. What is the best way to eliminate the majority of Linux distributions? Not using them. Make nobody use them. Like, if there's no user base, most distribution makers will give up. And that's what they do. They make a distribution... And then they're like, within like 6 months or a year, they realize nobody's fucking using it. And they're like, oh, I thought I would be this amazing rich man by now. And own the world and be more popular than Ubuntu. But that did not happen. So let's move over to stalking the cheerleader from my, you know. Yes, you can get sued for DDoSing. Yep. That's an illegal offense. Is that the right word? Illegal offense? Because an offense is kind of illegal. Is that a double negative? I don't even know. According to Google AI, 1990 was 20 years ago. I must be really young then. But most of the tools, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Most of the tools you're using are not even AI. You think they are AI, but they are not AI. And by you leveraging them to your benefit, and you think it's AI, you are lying then to yourself. And again, heck, I can just take speed every day and then I don't need to sleep that much. That's a benefit. I can do more work. We should use all the drugs for a benefit. They're not going away. Let's get some meth so I don't have to sleep at all. I can do even more work. Like, not everything that's a benefit needs to be used as a benefit or as much as you would like it to be used. The LLMs that we're using nowadays, we have no idea how good they are and how much they're bullshitting us. Well, we know how bad they are, mostly. And using them should be done really sparingly. Because this is what is going to happen, is that you're going to be so depending on AI that they are going to make a lot of fucking things behind a paywall, and you cannot do anything without it, so you're going to give them a shit ton of money. Because it's a tool now that you have to leverage for your benefit. the less you can be dependent on anything, the more free you are, and the less drawn in you get. You caught in many mistakes, and then you let it deal with your wiring. You let it deal with an engine tune. You're contradicting yourself quite a lot. But again, good luck. It's not me that's going to get fucked by an AI. Like, literally fucked by an AI. I think the only thing I use AI for is development. That's the only thing I use it for. Well, not like... If I get like an obscure product that is like discontinued for like 15 years, I may use AI to get some information from it. But other than that, I barely fucking use AI. Yeah, I'm a fucking mechanic, and I would not... Like, if an AI told me how to tune an engine, I will look at the fucking manual first, or after it told me how to do it, to make sure it was done right. And if he's a professional, he didn't need to... Why does he need AI to tune an engine? Can he tune it on his own? It's like saying I'm a pro developer and I'm vibe coding all the time. No, I'm just from the way that you're talking about how amazing AI is, just tells me you don't know what AI is doing. Because if you had just, like, you don't even need to know what it's doing. Like, if you had just, like, a little bit of an idea about LLMs and AI, it will not be that magical to you, and you will not be that hyped about it. Because you have an idea about how crazy it is. It's like people saying, oh, this speed thing is amazing! Holy fuck, I can stay awake forever! Holy crap, you know, like... AI, like the same with social media, it's a thing that has to be really fucking... I'm not saying regulated, but... used sparingly. Because it's so easy to fall into the trap where everything is done... Where you ask AI about everything. Because it's easy and convenient. And humans love easy and convenient. If you're using something, at least understand it. And the way you talked about AI means you don't understand it. AI is not going to replace the majority of workforce. That, again, that's people that don't understand AI is saying. You know, it is... Yeah, I would believe the tuner. Or the guy. I think the tuner is the guy. Is a person. Why the fuck would you put ChatGPT in front of it then? Like, this makes no sense. You're calling an expert and validating his views with an AI, which means that you don't trust the expert. Why the fuck would you then call him? That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Like, had you done that to me, I will never talk to you again. I'm just being honest here. Had you asked me for advice as a friend and you've been like secretly fucking using ChatGPT to validate me, no, never talk to you again. You start to make less and less sense. My body who gives a fuck if you want 500 horsepower? If it can't produce that, it can't produce that. Yeah, that's it. Why the fuck do you need ChatGPT to validate that then? That just means that you don't fucking trust him. Like, it's that simple. You don't trust him. Yeah. Why would you then use... If you already have an expert, why would you use ChatGPT? It's that simple. If you have an expert, why would you use ChatGPT? The expert couldn't give you a good analytic also. Probably a better one. Explain things you don't understand. Well, they are hiring... So, AI is going to replace jobs, but it's going to replace lower level jobs. Because those are the easiest ones to replace. And require less of the AI. So you either have two options. Either you become more qualified, or you become like an AI prompter. So the AI is doing your job, but you're babysitting the AI, basically. You are making sure that the output is right. You know how to talk to it to get the most reliable answers, because the way you talk to an AI matters, you know. It matters how you communicate with an AI. And let's look at that. Like, AI is not really AI. Artificial intelligence means not real intelligence, so it's not an intelligence. How can you be artificially intelligent? That means you're not intelligent then. Yeah, no, I don't believe you. You were talking like AI is this like superior fucking thingy. There is a line between being curious about new tech and then just plump into it with balls deep and not think. Well, you're not a commander, but it will be called an operator. So back in the day, and this would mostly be a girl, funny enough. And we are talking way back in the day. None of us was probably even born back then. You would have and this could both be a guy or girl that would actually write the code on a piece of paper. Then you would have a girl, mostly a girl, that will actually type that into the machine. Make the code into punch cards and put it onto like a tape spool and stuff like that. So they will operate a terminal that speaks to the server. You know. I can't. Again, I'm done with that conversation. If you need an AI to help upsetting dynamic DNS, and you call yourself a tech person, you are not a tech person. If you need an AI to do that, I'm just saying it outright. So yeah, you will have that girl typing that into the machine. So that's basically what you're going to be. Is you're going to be the person typing that into an AI that will then. So instead of typing in other people's code, you will ask it a question or do this for me, and then you will take that code, and you will bring that to someone that actually know what the fuck they're talking about, and then they will implement it into the software and stuff like that. So they will come to you and say, I need this, I need that, and you'll be the one knowing how to tell the AI to do exactly that. And you may also be the validator, but you will be the one that, like, the smart person that had envisioned the idea, that have done like, we need a class, a method, we need like a small program to do X, Y, and C. They figured out that's how and it has to use these algorithms and blah blah blah. The smart people figure that one out. Then they go to you and say, get the AI to build this, and then they give you the specifics of what it should build. You know, as an operator or commander, what you will call it, how to say to it in the best and most efficient way for it to build that thing. Because AI lack a lot of things for taking over the creative part of it. It lacks context and vision. I don't mean like, creativity is probably a better word. Context and creativity. So you've probably seen on Instagram and all that bullshit, Bigfoot and all these like koala and kangaroo like AI videos, or the videos of people walking down the street and like you think it's Julius Caesar's talking to someone and stuff like that. The only reason why AI didn't come up with all of that. Someone told AI to build all of that. No, the real skill is not to tell it how to. No, there's no skill in there's a skill, but the real skill is not how to prompt it. The real skill is coming up with the idea, coming up with this is how directing the idea. So again, those shorts, you have to come up with the idea. Okay, I need Bigfoot, I need him in the forest, he needs to be a vlogger. You need to come up with a story and all of those things. That takes skills. Then you go to a prompter that basically can do none of that fucking work, but he knows how to, or she knows how to talk to an AI. Which you can learn in like 30 minutes. Just like, if people say they can't find anything on Google and they are an adult, there's something wrong with them, because it's so easy to learn how to properly Google search that as an adult today you should learn that skill. So basically what the prompter is the person that knows how to Google search. So you tell them, do this thing, and they know what to leave out and what to put in when they're asking the AI. The smart people could do that, but while the prompter is doing that, they are figuring other smart shit out. So the AI prompter basically is just becoming a new burger flipper, or entry-level IT person, or entry-level whatever you will call it. They're the one that's getting paid the least. They're the one getting the shittiest job. They're the lowest on the totem pole. And think about this. Okay, they're the lowest on the totem pole to talk to an AI. It's not like... We're not talking about how to use a software. We're talking about job replacements right now. Now we're talking about a tool and not a software. It's like... And here's the kicker. There are non-AI algorithms out there that could do 90% of that job for you. And that should be the interesting thing. That AI is going to replace jobs, but it's going to replace low-paying jobs. I'm not calling it stupid jobs, but entry-level jobs. It already has. So the interesting part, if you really like technology, you should ask yourself this. Why are people so hooked up on AI when you can make a non-AI algorithm that can do 90% of the job? And then you ask yourself this, if you really are into technology. Is there anyone bullshitting us and saying we're using AI when we really are not? Because that will teach you a shit ton of fucking things about technology. It's not just marketing. It's it's to get people like you hooked. And it's working on you, apparently. AI is not a buzzword anymore because, like, look, we have many papers like this. Like, if you said AI was a buzzword last year, I will believe you. And AI has not... Like, AI last year is the same as it is today. Again, AI is not as good as you think it is, or people think it is. AI is not as advanced as they think it is. Since like, all these things they can do right now with AI, to some degree, is just because we bought better fucking computing power. So say, hey, thank you AMD and Intel, or Nvidia. Because they could have done this years ago, they just didn't have the power to do it. Not all of it, of course, but some of it. A lot of these things are not new inventions. They are just things that are possible because of the computing power we have today. So they have not come a long way. If you say something that come a long way, mean that it has evolved. No, the hardware has evolved. Not the tool. Not the AI. Well, that and the abstraction layer, what you will call, that makes the LMM speak to a human in a human manner. That's the basically the invention here. Is to make the output look like more digestible for a human. And again, most of these LMMs and AIs are really, really uniquely specific, trained to do few or one thing. It's that simple. Like, if I hear anyone say that, oh, AI is this amazing tool, a magical tool, I disregard them right away. So do most people in the tech world. Because it is not really that magical, and it's not this great new thing. But a lot of people are starting to rely too much fucking on it, because it's again, it's like junk food. It's convenient, it's good, it tastes good, it's right there, I don't have to cook, and blah, 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 blah. AI replacing salespeople. That's probably one of the jobs it could replace. Like phone sales men or girls. It could probably replace them. Because when a salesperson is calling you, the same with support people, they have a script in front of them. Have you done this? Have you tried this? Let me tell about your product. This is how much you could save. This is why you should use our product. Most conversations with people over the phone are scripted. If it's scripted, you can get an AI to do it, because depending on what you say, we're going into an if-else statement. If you respond in this way, do this, else do this. You can use non-AI to do that. You could probably make a non-AI algorithm that could be a really decent salesperson. And it can analyze the tone of your voice, it can analyze the pace of your speaking, it can analyze how much you say, yeah, and use that as an indicator on how the conversation is going. Without any AI. Yeah, no, you could not replace them decades ago. That's again where you're so off base. It's not even funny. People don't give a fuck. So let me ask you this: how many times have you asked into a support line over the phone? And what if I told you that 90% of those you talked to were not humans? At least not in the greeting message. People don't give a fuck if it's a human or a computer, if it makes them feel like it's a human. Again, I'm done with this conversation. People don't... No, they don't. Again, why did ChatGPT become so popular? Because it acted like a fucking human. People connected with it. And well, Google have this thing that Bing has right now, where it just it will give you like a summary of like if you ask it a question, the Gemini will give you like a summary of the answer, and then you see all the links. Okay, let me introduce you to a concept called salesman versus endorsement. Okay? Two different fucking things. Or a salesperson versus an influencer. Two different things. Two different requirements. Not the same. Yeah, Bing does it really good. Yeah. But they also done it for like a month. Actually, I think they started doing it last year, right? When did Bing get that Copilot integration? They were some of the first ones doing it. Oh, I can't fucking remember. It was last year they did it. Yeah, again, thank you, Microsoft, yeah. Well, funny enough, Microsoft is the reason... Well, Microsoft and Elon Musk is the reason why we have ChatGPT. So, thank you, Elon Musk, and thank you, Microsoft. And ChatGPT is why we have Copilot. No. Oh, goddamn, no. So, AI cannot replace the rock. But AI can replace the person you call up to buy the product from. Or the person that will upsell you to a higher tier. Basically, that's the salesperson. The rock is not a salesperson. He is an endorser or an influencer, depending on how you will look at it. He's getting you interested in the product. And then you go talk to the salesperson that are finalizing the sale. Just like if I took a sponsorship that you probably going to do at some point, you are influencing people to go and buy that product. So they're going to either use your affiliated link or call someone. That don't make you a salesperson, it makes you an endorser. That AI cannot do, because AI is not you. But it can replace the other ones. It cannot holy fucking shit. It cannot replace the rock because it's not the rock. That's the thing. It cannot replace you as an endorser because it's not you. Well, if they make an AI of him, they still have to have his permission. That's another thing. If they do that, they have to have his permission. And then he's endorsing it. He says, yes, you can use an AI version of me endorsing this product, aka he's endorsing or agreeing to being the face that endorsed that product or influence people to use that product. That's still not the same as a salesperson. I don't know. I've not seen Mr. Beast's new website. Why the fuck should I? Like, he's like one of the worst person on earth. Well, he's not the worst, but he's like an insufferable person. Let me put it that way. You. This is like fucking explaining ABC to a fucking blind and deaf person. The Trump phone. What happened to the salespeople now? How is that anything to do with fucking thumbnail gen? I use a tool called, what is it called? whyyyyy. They have the same capability. They can AI generate a thumbnail for you. If you wanted them to. They're not that good, but they can do it. It's been here forever. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about how humans work. Now that I'm a little bit tipsy here. People that do good things and can't shut up about it are almost, and I say this, almost never good people. Because they do those things and can't shut up about it because they're trying to convince everyone else that they are good people. Good people don't need anyone, good people don't need to tell other people that they're good people. Good people don't need to do good things in public because they have no need for validation. Charitable people that are really charitable don't need to do it in public because for them, it don't matter. It's about doing something charitable. People that do things to being charitable in public, pretending to be this nice and good person in public, is because most of the time, not always, but most of the time, they are hiding big fucking secrets. That is not that fucking nice. Because the only reason why they do those things is self-serving. To make themselves feel better. To not feel like an idiot. I'm not saying he is like that, but if I see a person going out of his way to be that charitable and making millions on top of it, well, let's think about it here. I'm spending, it's a lot of money, but again, let's think about it here. I am making, let's just say, $1 million a month, but I'm giving away $10,000. You may see that as being really charitable. For him, it's like, oh, I'm just buying a hot dogs today, or I'm getting takeout today. That's the amount of influence it has on him. For it to be really charitable, or anything of that nature, you know, the old saying, you have to suffer a little bit. So let's say he makes $1 million or 10 million a month. If he really was charitable, he would give away 50%, 80% of that money. For him, it's just an expense. He is spending, you know, in investment, so to speak. He's spending as little as possible to make a shit ton of money. Like, if he really was this charitable person, he would live in a fucking 1-room apartment, 2-room apartment in the fucking lowest income places on earth. And most of the money he made, he would give away or stuff like that. Mr. Beast is only charitable because it makes him a shit ton of money. That's the only reason why he's charitable. He's like, if I spend or give away this amount of money, I will make massive amount of money. And what does he care about? Making a massive amount of money. Why do Kent say he likes to make a lot of money? Well, because he lives in a big house, expensive clothes, expensive cars, big production, stuff like that. So he must care about material shit and money. If he really was charitable, he would give most of his income away. If the most important thing about him was being charitable, he will give most of his money away. So, basically, he's manipulating you, the viewer, to think he's this nice, charitable guy, so he can get his cock sucked in a mansion, basically. That's why I don't like him. Because he's mostly manipulating his viewer base, basically. Because here's how every video should make. Hey everyone, I'm spending $10,000 or $1 million today, or $100,000 so I can make 10 millions this month. And I can get a fucking upgrade to my house. Because that's what he really is thinking. That's why he's doing it. Hey everyone, I'm giving away 10,000 to the first person see on the street, so I can make 5 million this month so I get on fucking Hawaii and buy a house down there. Because that's what he really thinks. That's why he's doing it. But would you watch someone says, no, you would not. But hey, I'm giving $100,000 away. You're like, oh, it's so much money. Yeah, he's making fucking millions, okay? For him, it's like nothing. He can probably fucking be deducted in taxes because it's part of his company. I hate people using other people to make money by manipulating them. Even if someone is getting something charitable out of it. So the person getting those 100,000, of course they're getting 100,000, it's good for them. But he's still using them and manipulating the audience so he can live in a mansion. I don't really like people like that. Because if he's willing to do that to them, how is he going to treat me or you if you were his friends? It makes your mind wander. So that's why I say he's like a bad person. It's like, good people don't need to tell the world they're good people. Charitable people don't need to tell anyone they are charitable people. Their actions and other people will say it to them. They don't need to build a fucking YouTube channel up about it. It's that fucking simple. Again, if we go back to Linux, if Linux really was the best OS, everyone would be using it. If Mr. Beast was really this nice fucking guy, charitable guy, or let's just say charitable guy, he would be spending most of his money on, well, charitable fucking things. He would not be living as he does. But most people don't see that, which is sad. But he's using you. And I don't like people using me to that degree. Why is he making an AI that helps content creators? Because then those content creators is going to watch his videos or spend money on his merch. It's that fucking simple. He has openly said that he can make any YouTuber make about 10k a month. Help them to make 10k a month. If you really are that charitable, make a document that tells them how to do it. Don't reserve it to your friends. Or people that benefit you. If you really are this good of a person, tell everyone how to make 10k a month on YouTube. So again, when I hear Mr. Beast, I see a lot of bullshit. that's what I'm getting from. I'm getting a lot of bullshit. A little bit like, oh, I'm this amazing code, I can build anything, and then they sit in Copilot, ChatGPT, and vibe coding. I'm like, yeah, bullshit. That's what I'm getting from Mr. Beast. He can do all of these amazing things, and he don't care about money, and everything, every action he does, say that he cares about money, and he don't give a fuck about helping people. Because if he cared about helping people, he will help people. Even if it don't benefiting him financially. And no, it don't count to take people out to a fucking dinner once in a while. You know. It's like being in a relationship. Like, I really love you, I really care about you, and then they never talk to you unless nobody else has time for you. Or they only call you when they need help. With Mr. Beast, there's a lot of words going around, but the action says something different. Well, that's just a bad oversight of how the tool works. That just means he don't know what the fuck he's doing, which I don't think he does. Mr. Beast is one of these people that got really lucky and found a formula that works. But he's a greedy motherfucker like anyone else. Well, using other people's data without consent is not a gray area. That's actually illegal. You know, unless they give consent to it. Like, so on YouTube, I don't know if you know this, you can actually set the license of your video. And you can set a license on YouTube that makes it so I can't remix your video whatsoever. So I can't take it, and I can't use any part of your video at any time. I can't even react to it. Most people, of course, don't set it to that license, but there is, when you set, like, I think it's like the YouTube standard license, and then there's some other stuff. You can set it to that. And if you do that, you can sue the shit out of me. But of course, most people don't do that on YouTube. I only think it's like, I don't know, maybe Marvel will do it, and then they still don't do anything. If you react to it, it's still, you know, because you can still technically, legally, you can still react to videos if it's transformative. Like, you go into the fair use argument. I think it says it on the video somewhere. It either in the description or something like that. It says what license it's under. I can't remember, but it does says it somewhere on on the page. But I can't remember exactly where it is. It used to be in the description box. It would be like, yeah, I fucking can't remember where it used to be. Either in the bottom as a hash. I can't remember it. I honestly can't remember it. Yeah, so like, if I'm going to do any reaction videos again, I would like, they have to be at least one week old, like the video, and no fucking Linux thing. No, copyright system is amazing. It's just people abuse it. It's so good that people can abuse it. That's the problem. The problem is not that it don't work well. It's just like that. It's so good that people can abuse it. Because you can, it's so good that if you're just saying a sound that sounds like something, or humming something that could sound like let's say a song, they will get notified that, oh, you're probably using their song in the video, and they can then copyright strike it. So if someone takes my video and reacts to it, I will get a notification someone's using my material in their videos. I had people re-uploading my videos in foreign languages. Where I asked them, like, at least credit me, like, just give me, like, say, credit my, my YouTube channel. And then they didn't do that. Then I invoked a takedown, and they took it. I was writing to, so when you invoke a takedown, you have to explain why. I'm like, you don't credit me, so please, like, you can give them options what they can do, take it down, or I think it's like you can be like, you take all the ad revenue, or you can request a takedown so they remove the video, and then some other things, and I just requested a takedown. And then you have to explain why, and I was like, you didn't credit me, and I have asked you to credit me. Because they basically just re-uploaded my video in like like Spanish or something fucking like weird language. It was not, actually I don't think it was, maybe it was Romania. It was some weird ass language. So they basically just dubbed over what I said. So and I got a notification. Right now, if I go into my dashboard, there is like a copyright section. I think it's copyright section where you can see if other people are using your content, or if it has been featured in other people's work. And then they give you options what to do. And you can do, there's like a few options depending on how severe you want to be about it. And it's like, it's really good. Like, meaning like it's really good at detecting stuff. Yeah, that one you can ask for a takedown via the copyright system. Or maybe not on TikTok, I don't know about TikTok. But had it been on YouTube, you could have just go into that copyright thing and choose your option what to do. But yeah, the person took it down. He didn't, like, this is the other part. I wrote in a comment, because you can also, I think you can write in it. So it sent him a message. I did that. No response. Then I went on to the video itself, and I responded to it like, please just credit me. No response. And then, like, I think the third week I was like, can you please take it down? He took it down. Had he just put the link to my channel in there, there would be no problem. No problem. Just, I was just like, hey, it's a little bit shady, but at least just put my fucking channel link in there. But I noticed that the channel was new, and all it did was uploading other people's content. So I think it was just like a content farm. They were trying to get partnered by uploading other people's content, and then they would just keep uploading other people's content until they get banned, so they can make money off it, basically. And then when they get banned, they will make another account, uploading other people's content, get partnered, and upload, keep uploading until they get found out. So yeah, anyway, I need to go get some food. I haven't got anything to eat today, so I will stop now. So thanks for stopping by. See you later. Have a good day. Next week's video should be really